we talking about this time, James?
So today, Alex, we're going to talk about serverless computing.
Okay, so what are some of the core concepts we need to consider here?
Okay, to grasp the serverless model,
Yep.
okay, we first need to think about the traditional computing model.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say this is our data center.
Sure.
Okay. Within our data center, we're likely running a number of VMs or physical hosts. Okay. On top of that, we're going to be running server technologies such as your web servers, caches, databases, you name it. Your team is building it, configuring it, and maintaining it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. On top of that, we finally have our workload.
Okay.
Okay. This is the business logic that we've developed, packaged up, and hosted as an application.
Sure.
Serverless computing is about being able to forget about all this, okay, and think only about this. Okay. We offload all of this stuff to the cloud service provider, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, whatever that may be. Okay. Technologies in this space include things like, for databases, we have, Amazon RDS.
Yeah.
Okay. Azure SQL.
Yeah.
So forth. From a compute perspective, we have things like application service environments. We have Lambda functions, Azure functions, and so forth. These allow us to package up our logic, okay, and ship that to a fully managed service so we don't have to care about any of this.
Okay, so really interesting then. So we're not worried about the sunk cost of this and you needing to pay for the provisioning and extended period of usage for this infrastructure and bare metal hardware.
Yep.
All we care about is our application, which surely means then that this can be smaller, more lightweight, more efficient.
Exactly that. So we can, we can focus on refining our application, breaking that down and focusing on the important stuff.
Okay, makes sense.
What's really important here though is to, thinking back to one of our previous Codebytes where we talked about the 3 R's.
Yeah.
This is very applicable here because one thing with a serverless model is you're very restricted on the configuration and the variances of that technology you can apply. So for example, you've got a application on your on-premise data center, you can install whatever dependencies you require for that to run.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing that in a server model, you just can't. You don't have access to that underlying operating system to do that configuration.
Makes sense. So different model of thinking and the application needs to be fit for purpose in order to do this.
Exactly that. But you do that and you derive the benefits.
Sure.
Okay. The scalability, the performance, and the big one, cost.
Yeah.
Okay. With this model, thinking back to Lambda's functions, you actually pay per execution.
Okay.
Okay. So our service is there deployed, waiting for traffic. Okay. We don't actually get charged until that function is executed.
Pay as you use.
Pay as you use. Yeah.
Okay.
The true promise of cloud.
Yeah. So what about some of the other services then? If we think from an Azure perspective, we've also got things like Data Factory and Synapse, which have some underlying compute. How does that side of things work?
Sure. So the interesting thing with some of these technologies is you have options around serverless or self-hosted. Okay. And what you got to remember is, there are certain scenarios where you don't want to be fully serverless, or you can't at some point on the journey to becoming serverless. Okay. So one you mentioned there, Data Factory. We can run self-hosted integration runtimes in our on-premise environment, for example, if you want to, or we can offload that fully to Azure and let them care about that.
Okay.
Okay. So they can run the runtime agents for us, and we don't care about them.
Okay, so that makes this way less prohibitive then, right? Because you've got a mechanism of getting there on a journey.
Exactly. You can always start somewhere and then refine as you go.
Excellent, great. One thing to mention as well is around the service level agreements and the kind of thing that you're going to get from the cloud service provider with this technology. So, you'd expect that with your data center and that bare metal hardware to have a certain level of uptime and availability.
Absolutely.
If anything, that's better with the cloud because of the distribution and the kind of agreements that you got with the cloud service provider.
Absolutely. If you think about the pure scale of these service providers, the SLAs they can offer are normally better than what you can achieve yourself.
Yeah, 99 point X amount of nines, right?
Exactly.
Great. Okay. Thank you, James.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks.